The film starts by showing a planet called Nowhere, which is now the new headquarters of the Guardians. Here we are shown all the team members of the Guardians. One of them is Rocket, who goes to his room. Then Adam Warlock comes from another planet and goes straight into Rocket's room, because he is here to capture Rocket. As soon as Adam sees Rocket, he attacks him. Seeing this attack, all the Guardians become alert. After that, Nebula comes there to save the Rocket and attacks Adam Warlock. But Adam Warlock very quickly stops her attack. He beats her and throws her away. Now after this, all the Guardians attack him one by one. But no one was able to control him. Although they tried a lot to beat him, but no one could stand before him. Now, after seeing all these situations, the Rocket picks up its gun and starts moving towards Adam. Before that, Adam attacks him heavily and severely injures him. Despite all this, the Nebula does not give up. She gets up again and turns her hand into a mighty sword and attacks Adam's Warlock and stabs him in his back. Adam gets injured and falls on the ground. Before all the Guardians attack him again, Adam gets up and quickly runs away from Nowhere. Now Peter and his companion come to the Rocket to treat him. A healing device is attached to his body, but as soon as the device is activated, the Rocket starts to tremble. It seemed as if the device was taking the life of the Rocket. Seeing this, the Nebula immediately ran there. She tells Peter to turn off this machine quickly. Then she scans and checks the whole body of the Rocket and tells everyone that many devices have been fitted inside his body. Inside all those machines, a device is also attached to the heart of the Rocket. And if anyone tries to treat the Rocket without removing that device, then the same device will take the life of the Rocket. While the Rocket, who was injured and unconscious, began to remember his old memories. In his memories, it is shown that, many years ago, the Rocket was a small raccoon and was trapped in a cage with other raccoons. But one day, the High Evolutionary came there. He captured the Rocket and then experimented on it. After that, the Rocket becomes very sharp and intelligent. But as soon as the experiment is completed, the poor Rocket is put in another cell. There were also many other animals like him there. They were also brought here to experiment. Those 3 animals become friends with the Rocket. Nebula now checks the whole body of the Rocket and finds out where the machines were made and fitted in Rocket's body. So they all started thinking we may cure the Rocket if we went to where these machines were made. And then the next moment, Peter decided to go there, another planet named Orbiscope. Peter prepares his entire team while leaving his 2 companions behind in Nowhere and tells them they must take care of this place. After taking the rest of the team, Peter left for his mission immediately. Now we are shown the High Evolutionary, where Adam Warlock and his mom were with him. Adam Warlock's mom tells the High Evolutionary that her son is still learning, and that's why he failed in the mission and could not get back the Rocket. Hearing this, the High Evolutionary became very angry. He says, "I want Rocket no matter how." Saying this, he beats Adam Warlock a lot and threatens his mom that if they fail to get the Rocket next time and do not hand it over to me, then he will kill your entire generation. Here we come to know that the High Evolutionary is on some planet. This whole planet is just like our Earth. That's why its name is also Counter-Earth. Here, the High Evolutionary is so crazy and strange that he wants all the animals and creatures living there to be perfect and correct. That's why he goes to different worlds and picks up the animals and creatures, experiments on them, and tries to change them according to himself. He changes them so much that they become perfect according to his thinking. Similarly, when the High Evolutionary went to the planet Earth to take the animals and creatures, he liked the Earth so much that he decided that now I would also make a planet just like Earth, which would be identical to the original. Even the houses and people there will be like planet Earth. This whole planet is called Counter-Earth. The Guardians team sat in their ship and reached the Orbiscope. Before entering the Orbiscope, some people, including Gamora, entered their spaceship. Here Gamora tells Peter and the rest that Nebula has actually called us here because she has promised that she will reward us with 100,000 units if we go with her and help her. That's why we have also come to support your mission. As we know, the Rocket is still unconscious in his memories. We see that Rocket was the best and perfect experiment of High Evolutionary among all the experiments he had done so far because the brain of the Rocket is very fast compared to other animals. First of all, the High Evolutionary holds the Rocket and takes a test of its brain. When the Rocket passes the test, the High Evolutionary understands that the Rocket is really very smart and intelligent. After which, he showed the Rocket Counter-Earth, where the Rocket looked at the flying rocket and asked what it was. High Evolutionary says this is a rocket that always flies in the air. After this, he brought the Rocket to a lab to do more tests on him. He shows the Rocket a chamber and puts a turtle in it, and tries to change that turtle. Now that turtle has changed, but at the same time, it becomes very aggressive and angry. By showing this to Rocket, the High Evolutionary says I can change them. But I do not understand why they become so aggressive after the change, but I want to make them calm and peaceful. The Rocket looks at the chamber machine and tells the High Evolutionary that this machine has a problem. Rocket says that when they are placed in the chamber for transformation, along with their body, a chemical is also changed in their brain. That's why they become aggressive after the transformation. So if you stop that chemical from changing, then all of them will be completely calm as you want. The High Evolutionary was very happy to see this and was surprised and pleased that I succeeded in my experiment. High Evolutionary was so delighted that he told his colleagues that I wanted the brain of his Project Rocket. High Evolutionary says that this raccoon really has such a brilliant brain that even I do not have. High Evolutionary was also angry that this raccoon was my subject. I have made it like this through my experiment, so how can it be more intelligent than me? Although it is a small creature, he tells his colleagues to kill the rocket tomorrow morning. Take out its brain and give it to me. I will experiment on its brain and discover how it can think creatively. And then, with its help, I will make a new world where I will only keep those creatures who will be perfect just like me, and, after taking out its brain, also kill his friends too because they are useless to us now. As soon as he says this, the rocket is again locked in jail. When Rocket comes to prison, he tells his friends, they all will be killed tomorrow morning. So now we have to do something and get out of here. As soon as he says this, the rocket starts looking around and collects everything there and makes a key. With that key, he opens the lock of his jail and helps his friends to escape, but then the High Evolutionary comes and shoots his best friend, so the rocket friend dies there. Then the High Evolutionary tells him, I knew you would try to run away from here, so that's why I had to come here, and now I will kill your other friends, and right now I will take out your brain and I won't wait till morning. The rocket is sad to see his friend dead, and now he is also outraged. He attacks the High Evolutionary, injures his face and runs toward the spaceship, sits in the spaceship, and escapes from the imprisonment of High Evolutionary. The whole Guardians team comes together with Gamora to the planet Orbiscope. Then they reached there and went to the main area. All the information about the rocket was at this place, then they took out the rocket file. Then after coming to their spaceship, the Guardians team opens the rocket file, and now all of them know what has happened with the rocket in the past. All the Guardians know that the High Evolutionary has done a lot of wrong with the rocket. After watching the video, Nebula started pitying the rocket a lot. She says that so much injustice has never happened to anyone. Then everyone discovered that the machine in the heart of the rocket could be removed by entering the code, but Guardians could not find the code in Rocket's file. This is because the people of the High Evolutionary had removed the code from the rocket file. But the Guardians find out through the file who has removed that code and now who has the information about the code. So now they decide that we will go to that man, take the code from him, and save the life of the rocket. But Gamora refuses to do this and tells them that man is now with the High Evolutionary. So if we go there, everyone will be killed. So now I can't help you. She then sends her companion her location and tells him to come and pick her up. But we see that her companion has been caught by Adam Warlock and his mom in the Orbiscope. So when Gamora sent her location, Adam Warlock and his mom also found out about it. As soon as the Guardians reach the High Evolutionary, he tells them that now you know what my plan is. Now I will kill you all and get Rocket back from you. I have done all this and called you here through my plan. After this, he orders his people that Rocket is in guardianship outside. Go and get him quickly. Then the High Evolutionary goes and sits in his ship and orders his people to destroy the whole planet after my departure. They start destroying the world by flying the ship, which leads to explosions everywhere. Seeing all this, Peter and Groot, who were there, start fighting with the people of the High Evolutionary. Peter starts shooting them and picks up the man who has the code of that machine through which he can save the rocket. Now Peter's other companions see that the whole planet is being destroyed while the High Evolutionary is getting his spaceship out of here. And the other members of the Guardians team thinks that Peter and Groot are still in the spaceship. To save them, they go to the spaceship. But in reality, Peter and Groot had already jumped out of the spaceship with the man. Peter and Groot go straight to the rocket in their spaceship. They put the code in the rocket and removes the machine from his heart. Peter also treats his wounds, through which the rocket gets completely fine. Now Nebula contacts Peter and asks him, where are you? We came to the spaceship to save you. Peter tells him that Groot and I have already left from there. We are in our spaceship. The rocket is also with us, and he has completely recovered. Now the three members of the Guardians team quickly try to get out of the spaceship. But the High Evolutionary comes there first and imprisons them. These three Guardians team members see a lot of small creatures and animals here who have been imprisoned by the High Evolutionary. Because he was going to experiment on them. Seeing this, they all decided we would also free them and take them with us. Peter and his other companions leave for the High Evolutionary spaceship to save their friends. Peter contacts his planet Nowhere and tells his companion to come here quickly. After this, Peter enters the High Evolutionary spaceship with his companions to save his friends. Here we see a great fight between the High Evolutionary companions and the team of Guardians of the Galaxy. After a great fight, they defeat them, and then finally, they defeat the High Evolutionary. They all tell the Rocket to kill the High Evolutionary quickly, but the Rocket refuses and tells his team I am not like him. With this, the Guardians team frees all the people and creatures imprisoned in the High Evolutionary spaceship. They also bring them to Nowhere. In doing all this, a dog helps them, who is Peter's companion. He uses his power to connect the Nowhere planet with the High Evolutionary spaceship. But during this connection between the ship and Nowhere, the dog's powers weaken, breaking the connection in the middle. But before separation, all the peoples except Peter reached Nowhere, and Peter gets stuck on High Evolutionary spaceship. Seeing this, Peter takes a long jump and tries to reach nowhere. But by doing this, he fails and hangs in the space, where his condition gets very bad. It feels like he will die. But before that, Adam Warlock comes there and picks up Peter and takes him to nowhere, which saves his life. After which all the Guardians decide that now we will create a new world with all these creatures, and humans, where he will give them all a good life and let them all become what they want. After all this, Peter makes Rocket the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy team and tells his companions that I have been in space since childhood. I have been away from my family for so long, but I think my grandfather will still be alive on Earth. I have to go to meet him. I am taking a break from my work. After which Gamora and Peter's other companions set out on their own journey. Now after them, Rocket makes his new team, including Adam Warlock, because he has changed. Peter comes to Earth, where he meets his grandparents, who were surprised and also pleased to meet Peter.